FX Nation, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. And in this video guys, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about market maker resets. What are the most common mistakes that people make or that traders make when they talk about resets? Hopefully this video will allow you to get a better understanding as to the biggest mistakes that retail traders do when it comes to reset when they're trying to understand market maker behavior. All right, so this video here was a group session that we did with our mentors. So I hope you get a lot out of this. This is literally what we do every Sunday in our group sessions, this type of content. So I hope this brings value to you so you can see what we're doing in our group sessions. All right, guys, without further ado, let's get this week started. I'm going to go ahead and pull up a lot of screenshots. And so this is just so we can talk about some of the common traits that I see over and over and over again. And I just want to make sure that everybody's aware so you don't make or assume the same things in your mind about levels. All right, so the first thing is that I want to make sure that everybody understands is that what is the purpose of a reset? Anybody tell me, what's the purpose of a reset?
Be able to continue in the same direction, to restart the cycle to keep going in the same direction.
Right. So if price action, let's say, is at 2,000 and market makers want to get to 1,000, in order to get from here to here, they can't just drop 1,000 pips, right? And so this is when you have the pattern. This is when you have this, 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 and that, right? Now a reset comes into play because obviously they're not, this move alone here maybe only got them down to about 1,700, right? They still need to go much lower. Well, the way that they get much lower without having to go all the way up a whole friggin' cycle and go again is they would go ahead and give you level 1 or level 2, but then drop, and they would basically break this low. When they do that, this whole thing starts all over again. So what used to be level 1 is now a reset, right? Because it broke this low. Now, once you have a reset that's broken the low, everything starts over again. So, and then essentially, this right here becomes peak formation high again, and then literally the count starts all over. So level 1, level 2, level 3, right? Now let's say this second wave here, the second cycle, let's say it gets them down to 1,300. Again, they're still not at 1,000 where they want to get to. So they might go up, let's say level 1, level 2 back up, but then they break again and they break this low again, right? As soon as they do that, it's the same thing. You had level 1, you had level 2, but now this becomes a reset again, and this again becomes peak formation high, and the shit starts all over again. So 1, 2, and then they get to 1,000 and they finally break it down. Okay? So the whole purpose is for them to go from here, from 2,000 to 1,000, without needing to basically go 3 levels down, 3 levels up, and then make one of the levels even further. It's avoidance of doing all that stuff because they don't want to go back up, because they already have people trapped here from in buys. So the more times that they go back up, the more times it allows traders who are trapped to get out of the trade as a break-even trade or as a small loss. So many times have you been in a trade, or how many times have you taken a trade where you told yourself, if it can just get back to break even or a small loss, I'll just get out of the trade. How many of you done that?
Several times.
I know I have. That's the purpose of why they don't go just 3 levels back up and then drop it, further down the next time, because they're just basically having to do double the work. Okay. So a couple things about resets, because I think this is where a lot of the stuff, a lot of the examples come from, are literally just the reset part. Is the fact that in order to have a reset, you need to have first 3 levels of drop. So a good example is this right here. If this is peak formation low, you can't just go 1, 2, and then a reset. Unless this reset is going down. You get what I'm saying? So if you're coming from up here like this, and that's peak formation, level 1, level 2, and you're saying that this is going to be a reset, then this needs to break this low. So in order for you to have a reset, you need to have a full 3 levels of drop first, right? You need to have this first. You can't do this and have, a reset when you only have 2 levels previous. So a full cycle needs to happen, and then you either need to be at level 1 or level 2 on the next cycle. And then obviously it needs to break the low here to keep the trend going. Now, I don't know what the rest of this picture is to the left or to the right, so I can only speculate about what I'm looking at here. And so a lot of these examples, I can only assume what I'm going to assume based on the actual picture that I have. So I can't give you all, a completed answer to that unless I know the full picture. But on this case, this is not a reset. You can't have a reset at level 2 and reversing. What's wrong with this picture?
It didn't break the low of the peak formation there by Monday. It didn't
Right.
break the low.
Right. So this isn't a reset, right? You've only gone up 2 levels and you didn't break this low. And I don't know if this is a reset here, how you can have another reset like that. That just doesn't make any sense. So this, incorrect. The same thing. You're going to see this literally the same thing over and over and over again. So this is the mistakes that I don't want you guys to make. Again, if this is going to be a reset, right, and this is a peak formation low, so that means that you had a full cycle, right, coming down. You have level 1, level 2, okay? This needs to break this here and continue down. And this would be the reset. This would be the reset. Okay.
Okay, hold on, Mark. So on that right there, I thought the reset was to continue going up. So if that was peak formation low, level 1, and then level 2, if level 3 would be the top of the full cycle, right? And then it would go the opposite direction. So the reset I thought would be like to go up, to continue going up instead of just level 3 and then coming down. It would go reset and then go level 1, level 2, maybe level
So
3.
you're coming off of peak formation low, right?
Yep.
So you go up 1 level and then another level.
Yep.
Okay. This so far, there is no reset, because if you're coming off of this cycle down, you're saying that you want to keep going further down. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like literally like this, right? This is the reset up here.
Yeah, I thought so maybe I'm totally lost on this, but I thought the M at the top, you got the A, and then W. The W would be
So it's like this, right? The M here, you have a level, and then this right here would be the W, which is this, right? So this is a full cycle, peak formation low, you go up 1 level, and then you go up another level here. This right here is not a reset. All this is just a cycle going back up.
Okay.
This right here, this part here is confusing a lot of people. This is a 15-minute chart. So if you literally just look on a 15-minute chart where the lines are, right, where these lines are, this is a day break, right? This right here is the Asian session. Asian session.
Gotcha.
Do you see what I mean?
Yep.
So if you're looking at on a regular chart, and you're looking at just levels on a 15-minute time frame, notice that literally where there is a day break at, where the new day starts, there's always essentially sideways movement, sideways movement, sideways movement, sideways movement, sideways movement, the whole time, every single time. Because this right here, all this is just the Asian range, and then you have whatever is going to happen, and then again, sideways movement. There's a day break next day, whatever happens, and then back to sideways movement. That's all it is, literally the whole chart, all the time, over and over and over again. So you can go back to every single day. Look, same thing. There's a day break. 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 Same thing every single time. Doesn't change. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I wasn't thinking it was a 15-minute chart. Didn't pick up on the consolidation phase.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that this consolidation phase is basically them building out a level. You know, so if you're using this on a 15-minute chart, these two, because they're in the same lane, it's a level. This up here is another level. This up here is another level. This is all another level. This is another level. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's going to take time. This is the hardest part to learn. And the reason it's the hardest part is because everybody sees it or interprets it in a different way. So I think that the most important thing that you need to understand is that, so I may look at this as that, or I may look at this like this. You may see it on a smaller scale, right? As long as it makes sense to where you can get to the same output as I am. So as long as you can get to peak formation high up here or peak formation here, and you can count this however you want to. You can count resets, whatever it is that you want. As long as you get to the same outcome, that's what matters. Because if you can't get to the same outcome, you're going to be completely lost. So if you're looking at it on a 15-minute time frame, obviously it's going to be smaller. The higher you go on the time frame, the bigger you zoom out, the bigger the levels get. And so if this was a daily chart, this whole block here may be 2 months. You know? That whole block may be 2 months. So within that 2 month period, within this block of 2 months, there's bound to be a couple cycles in there. At least. All right, so this one here, what's wrong with this one?
Isn't that just a W where he got the PFL, the level 1, and the reset?
Right.
It's just a
So
W.
if this is peak formation low, it comes down, it goes up, and it comes right back down again, right? And it just creates a multi-day bottom or multi-day level 3 or peak formation low. This is not a reset here. For this to be a reset, right, if this is level 1 here, this needs to break this low here and keep going down. Because it doesn't break the low and it literally just tags it, it's an unconfirmed reset. And all that means is just a multi-day W or M if you're going, back down again. Okay? But the rest of this is fine. But that reset, that's not a reset there at all. It's the same thing here. This is not a reset. If this was going to be a reset here to go higher, you would need 3 levels of rise first. So you need a full cycle. And then you can go higher like that. So this is not a reset. All this is just really a regular level. This is all just a regular level.
I think for me, I think mine, I did the same thing as this person did on a lot of my charts. Almost all of them had a reset.
Yeah.
But I think somewhere in the either the video that you shared about the ADR or the other one, it mentioned that after the resets happen a lot of times after level 2. And so I wrote that down, and then I'm like, okay, where's the pullback to continue going up? Like if they're going up an upward trend from here, I'm looking at that reset, trying to find it after level 2
Yeah.
to say, okay, you know, they can't go 1,000 pips upwards without it. And that's kind of what threw me for my, I'm not trying to make excuses. That's just how
No, absolutely not. So this is what I mean by happening at level 2, right? Is you have a full cycle. So you have a peak formation high. You have level 1, level 2, level 3, goes back up to level 1. You're at level 2. You're expecting this to go up and give you a level 3, but it doesn't. It tanks and it breaks through here. Okay.
I totally did the reset the opposite direction.
Yeah. So one thing that I will tell you is that I learn things every single day. Like I'm always learning, right? And I'm always studying. I'm a very analytical person, right? I like data. And so one thing that I have noticed, a lot of the resets that I see now are happening at level 1. Another thing that I notice is that the EMAs aren't playing as big a factor as they used to be. So think about a lot of times what happens when you have a huge move that happens out of the gate, out of the top here, and it just goes straight down. What do you think happens to the EMAs, right? They all like cross over at the same time. And you don't get a level until all the way down here. By that time, all these EMAs have crossed over already because of the aggressive move.
Yeah, the EMAs was one of my questions I had for you because that was confusing. I tried to follow it, but some of them you could see them and some of them I just couldn't. And that's probably why the aggressive move. And
it's the aggressive move. It causes all the EMAs to cross over at the same time. And so you get a really, really long move, and then you get one level here, and then you start moving, and you're like, shit, all these, the crossovers all happened all the way up here. Same thing here. There's no need for this here. There's no need for a reset to happen here because you haven't had 3 levels of drop yet.
so would you just erase the reset box and just let it keep going down to form level 3?
Yes.
Kind of ignore that.
Exactly.
That
Yes.
and everything.
Yes. Because remember, this is a 15-minute chart, right?
I forgot.
So all this is just a type 1. That's all it is. You consolidate here. You'd make your move, consolidate again. So don't let the type 1 pattern, fool you into thinking that. If you haven't had, a full cycle yet. So very important. You just got to have a full cycle first. And so a lot of the mistakes are like literally the resets. So it's the same thing. You know what I mean? You'll see the same thing over and over again. Level 1, level 2, and then it counts as a reset. This is not a reset. It's just a full level. So all this is here is just all you have is level 1. This whole thing's level 2. level 3, and peak. That's all it is. So very common theme here. This is the same thing where you had what looks to be a full cycle down, and then you had a multi-day W, and you didn't break the low here. So this is an unconfirmed reset, and all it is just a level 3 here, this whole thing. And then you're just going up 1, 2, and 3. What's wrong with this one? This right here, in order for the reset to work, for you to have a reset, you need to have, so you can't have a reset you can't have this be a reset and then not go another 3 levels down. So it's not like a reset and then 1 and then reverse. Do you get what I'm saying? Once you have a reset, this is again, it starts over, peak formation high, and then you have another 3 levels of drop before reverse. So keep that in mind. So once the reset happens, everything restarts again. You're back at peak formation low, peak formation high, whichever one it is. So if this was really a reset, you would have needed 3 more levels of rise and then a reversal. All right, guys, so I hope that watching this helped explain or gave you a better understanding about resets, about what are the most common things that people do and things of that nature. All right. So thank you guys so much. Please comment below. Let me know you like the content. And if you need any more help, the next and final class starts May 3rd. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day.